Sorry, please, can I ask a question?
Okay, yes, you can.
Okay, yeah, good evening. The
Good
material
evening.
you shared with us for the training, for the Excel training,
Okay.
I still cannot open it. The only thing, it's just showing, I can open via Google Sheet. I'm unable
Okay,
to open
to
using the,
download it, you're able to download it.
I'm still unable to download it.
Okay, so let me show you how you can download it. For I think I shared how we can on the let me show you how we can download it. I would show you now. Um, okay. So once you open the material on um, Google Sheets, there's a place where you click on File, and you see download. Let me see if I can. Let me see. I can get it here. So this is the material. So I'm going to open it now. Once it brings you here, you can see this, right? So let's see. Come here and select Google Sheet. The moment it opens Google Sheet for you, waiting for it to load that in. Yes. So the moment it brings Google Sheet for you, like this, all you have to do is to come to your File tab, click on File tab. Once you click on File tab, you'd see Download. And in Download, you just hit Microsoft Excel and you download it to your system. Did you get that?
Yes, thank you so much.
All right, you're welcome. Okay. All right. So in 2-3 minutes, I would like 2 persons. So I'm going to go with let me see, who will I call? I would go with Nura and I'll go with Paul. So in 2 minutes, can you just share with us what you picked from the class yesterday or what we did yesterday in class? So I'm going with Paul first in 2 minutes. What did you teach in
Okay,
class
good evening.
yesterday? Okay, good evening.
Good evening, everybody on the call.
Good
Okay.
evening.
Yesterday, we did a lot of things. We were introduced to Microsoft Excel. First of all, we were introduced to data analysis. We were taught the meaning of data analysis, the types of data analysis. Then we were introduced also to Microsoft Excel, the introduction of Microsoft Excel, the interface of Microsoft Excel. We looked at different things in the Microsoft Excel. We looked at the tab, we looked at the groups, we looked at the commands in the groups, we looked at the name range, we looked at the cells, the rows, the columns. We also went and looked at how we can use shortcuts in Microsoft Excel, the relative and absolute and mixed references, which are the 3 types of references. We looked at how we can use simple arithmetic functions like the sum, the percentage, with the average, and we also advanced. I think that was how we ended the class with absolute and relative reference in that for the yesterday class. It was really awesome that yesterday.
All right,
So
thank you very
thank
much. Nura, are you there? Thank you so much. Nura, are you there? Can you hear me? Nura, are you there? Can you hear me? Okay, so I think she's not there. Capable catalyst, sorry. The capable catalyst, are you there? Or if you're in class yesterday, can you share with us in 2 minutes what you picked from the class? Anybody? If you are saying something, you are muted. I cannot hear you. If you are saying something, you are muted. Okay. If you know you don't want to say it, just you can type it in the chat box. I would see it. I would. All right. So let's just continue from where we stopped. If you don't, you don't want to say it out, you can use the chat box. I'm going to read it out once I check it. So we stopped here. Now, when we got to this point of sorting this date column in descending order to know the employee that was the oldest employee or those that were hired first in the company, we're having issue because it was seeing some of the date as text and some of the date as number. And to be honest, this is my first time encountering something like that. Yesterday in the class, I used and um even trying to use the home tab, the editing group in the home tab here to solve the problem. I could not format it. So that was my first time encountering. So I had to like make more research on how to fix this. And I found out that you can encounter this type of error when you copy and paste from one file to another. And also couple the fact that I just installed this Microsoft 365 on my system. That is why I'm facing this issue. So anytime you face issue like this, now it's not just with dates alone, it can also happen with a column containing numbers or a column containing text. Any data type, can happen with any data type. You'll be viewing them as either text or number, and you'll be having issue in sorting them. So anytime you are faced with an issue like this, that you want to sort a date column, after going to the data tab and you hit sort, expand selection, and it's bringing, okay, when you hit okay, now it's not sorting it correctly the way it should, despite the fact that you said you should sort it, then there's a problem. To fix this kind of problem, and also you find out that trying to convert it from one date format to another is not working too, like this. This is a date, right? If I want to convert it to a date format and I put Control 1, then it brings this dialog box here where I can decide to change it to either long date. But you notice that despite if I are checking or any other date format apart from the one that you have originally, it's still not changing. Then there's an issue, there's a problem. I selected this long date and I hit OK, but it's not changing it. So this is a problem. To fix this, we're not supposed to get to this place yet, but I'll just show us how to fix this. Anytime you find out that you cannot sort your data correctly, and also you cannot change the type, the format type, you can't change the format type, then there is a problem. Okay, someone is saying that, hold on, that his admission is still pending. So let me see. Hold on, please. Okay. Okay. So anytime you are faced with an issue like this, all you have to do is to come to your data tab, highlight the data you want to work with. The ones you've highlighted it, select the data in that column, then go to your data tab. In your data tab, you would see in the data tools group, you would see text to columns command. Click on that text to column command. Then we have this convert text to column dialog box that appears. We have step 1 of 3. The first one is you choose delimited, I mean, and hit next. The second part is you can decide to select tabs as your delimiter or just uncheck it, then move next. This, I know that this column I'm working with is a date column, so I would check date. Now, one thing you should note again, you would notice that this date format is in month, day, and year format. Okay, someone is going to admit you shortly. Think. All right, so sorry, please, I'm trying to admit some people in. They're finding it difficult to enter. Mm. Sorry, hold on, please. I'm trying to admit some people in. Okay, so can we hear me? Can we hear me, please?
Yes, we can.
Yes.
Okay,
Yes.
okay, sorry. Now,
Yeah.
you would notice that
Is it
the dates here is showing in the month, day, and year format. So I'm going to change this format from day, month, year. I'll change it to month, day, and year format. Looking at the data here, the format of the date here in this column, and I'll hit finish. The moment I did this, let's go back. Can you see that the formatting I applied of changing it to a long date has changed? So I can now go back to the home tab or just press my Ctrl 1 to bring out the dialog, the format dialog cell box, and I can change the date to any format I want it to be, which I'm going to go with this one and hit OK. It changes that. So this way I can sort it. My data tab, select the sort command. I'm going to expand selection. Then now column G, there's no name here. That's why it's giving is not. I'm not working with column G. I'm working with column F. I'm going to sort. So you can now see that it's no longer showing from A to Z or Z to A. That's because it has recognized that column to contain date. So I want to see from oldest to newest. I'll select oldest to newest. I'm going to hit OK. And it would sort it. It would sort the date. So let's see. So you can see now, whoa. This is, so let me just take this to, okay. So we can see now how that it has sorted this. You can see 2028 from, so we know the highest employee here, the employee that was hired is this person. John Doe was hired first into the company. So this is how you sort. You can also sort based on a column that contains numerical values. You can see we have salary column here. I want to sort based. I want to know those that are earning high salary in the company. All I have to do is to come, select the data tab, then hit your sort, expand selection. I'm looking at column G this time around, not column F. Column G, sort from largest to smallest. Then I'm going to hit OK, and it's sorted. I get it. Okay, this person, Robert Hall, is the one earning the highest in the company. And if I scroll down, I get to see the person earning the least salary in the company. This is how we do this. All right. The next thing I want to show us here is how to filter our data. So filtering your data has to do with you filtering your data or getting some selected data from your data based on some given criteria or condition. To do this, let's assume I said, okay, I want to see the employees that are working in the HR department and they manage the position, or their position is managing director, and okay, let's just look with that one. Employee that are in the HR department and the position is managing director. To do this, all I have to do is to select anywhere on my data. Once I select anywhere on my data, I'll come here to my data tab. In your data tab, you can find the filter command here in the sort and filter group. You can also find it in your home tab here. You would see sort and filter. When you click down here, you get to see the filter. Or, like I said, you right click and you get your filter command. But I'm going to go with this one. When you hover around the command, you get to see what that command is doing. You can see Control plus Shift plus L. That is what the short cut for that filter is Control plus Shift for L, plus L, and it tells you what this thing does is it's turn on filtering for the selected cells. Then click the arrow in the column header to narrow down the data. Go back and select. The moment you select that button, you would notice that we now have drop-down buttons beside every of the column headers. Drop-down buttons here, beside every of the column headers. Like I said, the condition is to look for employees in the HR department and their position is managing director. So I'll come here, click on the drop-down button and select, I'll uncheck all and check just HR. Then I'll hit OK. And the next thing I'm going to do is everybody here is managing director, so there's no need for me to start going back to check everybody's managing director. So, okay, we can see here, when you come down here to the status bar, you get to see that we have 10 or 50 records found. It means we have 10 employees that are in the HR department and their position is managing director. What if I want to see those that are in the let's check what other departments we have here again. I want to see those that are in the marketing department too. All you have to do is just go back and still check the marketing. Then okay, it adds the one for marketing and we get to see the result, 20 or 50 records found. So one thing you should note, anytime you check the a column header that contains or have a drop down button and you notice that the drop down button has changed to a funnel like this, the icon has changed to a funnel icon, this means that that particular column has been filtered, that it has been filtered. So make sure that anytime someone is sending you data, if it's not something that is required to be that you should do, you should work with with the filtered data, then go with it. But sometimes it's best be sure that you want to work with the data that has been filtered or just unfilter everything. So to unfilter everything, you just go back to your data tab and click on this filter button and it removes the filter button from the data and take everything back to its original position. So let's do like this again. Another short way you can bring that button is just use your Ctrl Shift L. Ctrl Shift L would bring out the button without you having to go to the data tab and selecting this button. With Ctrl Shift L, you bring this here. All right, so I don't know, do we have anybody that is working with our system there? Anybody?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, all right. So
Yes,
I
ma'am.
want you to tell me, I want to see employees that are working in the finance and sales department, and that person, finance and sales, the person, don't just give me the one for finance and sales. Let's see. How many number of persons are working in the finance and sales department? How many number of persons?
For finance, we have 10.
We have what?
For finance,
We
we have
have
10.
20 records.
Yeah, we have 10.
No, sorry, I want for, I mean, join together. All the employees join together.
All together.
Okay.
We have 20 people for in finance and sales. We have
20
10
people for
for
finance and
finance
sales.
and 10 for sales.
Okay, very good. Now let's check. I'm going to come here now for department, uncheck all and check finance and check sales. Then I'll hit OK. So here, 20 or 50 records found. This is how you sort and filter your data. And the next thing you are going to be looking at is conditional formatting. Conditional formatting has to do with, please, if your mic is on, can you mute it, please? Please, if your mic is on, just help me mute it. Thank you. Thank you. Okay. All right. So the next thing I'm going to be looking at is conditional formatting. Conditional formatting has to do with you applying a kind of format to your data, also based on some given criteria. You automatically changing the appearance of the data based on some given criteria. Let's say, for example, I want to see just employees that are earning above 50, maybe above 62,000 naira. I want to see their records to know. I want to make decisions with them. But before we get to that place, let's just look at some of these formattings, conditional formatting, I mean. So go to your home tab. In your home tab, you'll find the conditional formatting command here in the styles group. You can see your styles group, conditional formatting. Click on the drop down button. Now you have different options here. We have highlight cell rules, where you get to see, do you want to find greater than or less than or between, equal to text that contains a date occurring or duplicate values, or top bottom rule, where you want to see top 10 items, top 10% items, bottom 10 items, bottom 10% items, above average, below average. Or you want to use data bar, we'll check all this one after the other, or color scale, or icon set, or you want to create a new rule. So we'll check let's start with the highlight cell rules. Now, please, if I'm too fast, call my attention to it. If you get lost at some point, call my attention to so that I can, pick you up and go over it again. Okay, greater than, I'm going to start with this. Let's say I want to work with the salary column and I want to see all the salary greater than 65,000 naira. I would hit greater than. Then the greater than dialog box pops up and it's saying, okay, what do you want to do? Format cells that are greater than what? I'm going to type in the value 65,000. Then we have here with what format do you want to apply to it? You can come here, click on the drop down button to select the kind of format you want to apply to it. If I'm saying I want to say I want to see salary greater than 65,000 naira, I want to give it a green field with dark green text. I'll select this one and hit OK. Now, okay, nothing happened, right? And the reason why nothing happened is because we did not select the column we want to work it. So when you want to add formatting, conditional formatting to your data, it has to be selected. I would select the first cell, Control Shift downwards to highlight everything in that column. Then go back to my home tab, then come here and select, do the same thing I did the other time. Greater than 65,000 and 65,000. And I'm giving it green field. Okay, so you notice that every values that is greater than 65,000 naira gets highlighted. You can see 75, 68, 66. Every value you see highlighted with green text and green font view is greater than 65, the criteria, which is 65,000 naira. This is how you apply. What if I want to find for less than? With that column still selected, I'll come here, still highlight zero less than, and I would say, oh, for all the values less than 62,000 naira, just give it this light red field with the dark red text. Okay, it will highlight every value that is less than 62,000 naira with red field. So from here, I can make my decision. Okay, I know these are the people that are earning below 62,000 naira. Michael Johnson and Emily James and the rest like that have their own salary highlighted with the red field and red text. Okay, let's go back again. If you want to find between, you want to find the value between, maybe I want to find the salary in between 62 and 62 and maybe 68. Let me give it that 62, 68. So we have the between dialog box here. Between what? 52 and 68. So 62,000 naira and 58. 58,000. Sorry. 68,000, not 58. And you can change the color. Let's say I'm going to give it yellow fill with dark and hit OK. So you'd see that every value that is between 62,000 naira and 58,000 naira is highlighted with a yellow fill, and the text itself is also changed to yellow. Let's check out other conditional formatting. If you want to find equal to exact, okay, I just want to find salary that is equal to 65 alone, just hit equal to and it brings this and you put the value you want to find that is equal to. So I won't spend much time here. We already gotten the format. So I'll come here. If you want to find, okay, text that contains, so let's say I want to work with the IT, sorry, this column, I think the department, yeah, department column, and I want to see just those that I wanted to highlight the HR, those in HR department alone, the HR department. Make sure that your data is selected. Then go back to your home tab and you select text that contains. And it brings this text that contains, and it has even selected the HR for me that I wanted to pick. And I can change the color to anyone I want to change it to. And hit OK. Every HR on that list would be selected. In the column, will be selected. Every HR will be selected. So you can just play around the highlight cell rules. A date occurring, you want to fetch out duplicates in your data, you can use this, hit the button and you'll see a duplicate. Now, duplicate values, it could be duplicate or you want to find unique. Duplicate means values that appeared more than once. So if you want to find all the duplicate values, it will highlight everything here because almost everything here is repeated more than once. So it will highlight everything here. But if you want to just fetch out the duplicates in your data, you can use these two to highlight them out and it would work. So just cancel. Then let's go back and check other. We've worked with these highlight cell rows. Let's look at top bottom rows. Let's say I want to find top 10 items. Top 10 items. I will just select this top 10, right? Then you can always change. You can reduce. Maybe not top 10, top 5 or top 15? You can always reduce and increase. So I'm going with top 10, right? I'll go with top 10. Please, if you are lost, let me know so that we can find ourselves. And if I'm too fast, also call my attention to it and I'll go back for you. Thank you. So top 10, you have to be sure of the column. Make sure the column is selected. So currently this is selected and I'm still going to leave it with, let's say I'm going with the light red field with dark red text. Okay. Now, you didn't do anything to this one because this is a text column. So let's work with the salary column. And I'm going to remove the formatting that I've applied here. To remove formatting from your data, right, you can just select somewhere there, go back to your home tab. Then in the conditional formatting, you'd see clear rules here. Now, are you clearing rule from the selected cell or from the entire sheet? I would hit entire sheet because I want to clear all the formatting I've applied. So I would hit entire sheet. Then it removes all the formatting I've applied to that sheet. Then the next thing I want to do is I want to work with this salary column and highlight the top 10. Top 10. So Control Shift downwards to highlight everything in salary column. Go to my home tab, pick drop down button, then top and bottom. And I'm saying, okay, I want to pick top 10%, top 10 item, I mean. Give it green fill with dark green text and hit OK. Excel is smart. So it will pick all the 10, the top 10 salaries. It won't pick them in order of how it is here. Maybe select highlight from like this to the 10th. Please, if your mic is on, can you mute it, please? Please. Thank you. Okay. It will not just highlight all these top 10 values here. No, it will search through the column and pick the highest value, top 10 of the highest salary. And that's why you are seeing that it's splitted, it's scattered. You can see we are seeing 75 here, 74, 76, 71, 73, 72, 71. These are the top salaries in that column. If I want to pick bottom, go back, bottom 10 items, it will pick the least salary. Any amount, is it 10 or 5 least or 5 bottom, it will pick the least salary. Try that out at your end too. You want to find above average, hit this, it will bring the above average. You want to find below average, hit the button to bring the below average. Just check, can you see? If you are below average, but make sure that whatever column you're working with is selected to do that. Then let's check out the next one. We have the data bar. This data bar would help you add color data bar to represent the value in a cell. The higher the value, the longer the bar. So I'm going to work with the salary columns because it's like the only numerical column we have here. Control Shift downwards. And I'm saying first, I'm going to remove the formatting that I applied here. I'll clear the formatting. Clear it. Then I would add detail bar to it. Let's see. So you can select any one. I would just go with this one, either gradient fill or you want to go with solid fill. So let's go with solid fill. So this solid fill, like I said, the longer the bar, the higher the value, the longer the bar. The shorter the value, the smaller the value, the shorter the bar. So here, they are seeing full or close to full bar, it means that value is high. When you see small bar, that value is low compared to the highest number in that column. So with this data bar, you can track which salary is high and which salary is low. Going back again, we have the color scale. So you can also use color scale. This color scale would apply a color gradient to a range of cells. The color indicates where each cells fall within that range. So if I apply that to this salary column, but I'm going to first clear it before applying it. Clear from the before applying that. Then I'll come back here again, and I'm saying, okay, let me go with this green, yellow, and red color scale. Let's hit enter. Anywhere you see green, that's the highest value of that column. Where you see yellow is the average value, and where you see red, these are the least or the smallest value in that column. Going back again, the next one we're going to look at is icon set. What is icon set? You can choose a set of icons to represent the values in the cell. Let's assume you have a data that contains rating, of which is like from 1 to 5. We have different icon sets here that you can use. Directional icon set. Now, all these ones, if the arrow is, look at the arrow now. If the arrow is going up, it means the value is high. If the arrow is pointing towards the right hand side, it means the value is average. If it's pointing towards the down part, that value is small. It's part of the least value in that column. Anyone you want to work with, it just depends on the direction where the arrows are pointing to. You want to use shape where green represents high, yellow represents average, red represents the least. If you are dealing with a column that is for rating, where you have stars as the icon here. If it's high, you have a full star. If it's medium, you have like half of the star. If it's low, you can have nothing, no fill in that star. So it depends on anyone you want to use or work with. The next one we're going to explore is this new rule, how that you can also apply new rule. So I'm saying now, I want to highlight the roles or the record of employees that, let's look at this instruction here. Highlight salaries above 60,000, just 60,000 naira. This is not 60,000 naira. First, I'm going to clear the rule from the entire sheet or from the selector. That's the this thing here. Then it is to highlight salaries above 60,000 naira, which we've done already by, I think we use 62. Highlight employees earning above 60,000 naira. To do this, I'm working with the salary column, right? Or I would highlight the whole data because I want to format the employees or know the employees that are earning above 60,000 naira. So I'll go back to my home tab. Then I'll hit new rule. So this new rule brings out more options. Of course, we've explored them. The one for format all cells based on their values. We've done that for maximum, lowest value, highest value. The one for format only cells that contains, we've done this. Is it between? Is it not equal to? You can always do that here. You want to from top to bottom, bottom. We've explored that already. Format only values that are above or below average. I've showed us already. Format only unique or duplicate values. I've shown us already. So you can just, once you are done selecting the instruction, come here to format and pick the color you want to work with. By coming to fill, you pick the color. But I'm not doing this. What I want to work with is this last part. Use a formula to determine which cell to format. It means at this stage, you have to type in your formula yourself. So let's say I want to work with, like I said, the instruction is I will find employees that earn above $60,000, not naira. All I have to do is to type in equal to, or is that you type in equal to, or you come here and just select the column you want to, you select the cell or the column you want to work with. So I'm just going to put my equal to sign. Then the instruction is, if the condition is that it is employee earning above $60,000, then what should you do? I'll just come here and select the salary column. Now, don't forget, I'm going to ask a question now. Since I'm going to be working with this, the salary column is the criteria for me to get the employee. What should I do to this salary column? I don't want it to extend or move or shift. I only want to work with salary column. What should I do to it to work with this column alone? Can anybody answer that? Can anybody answer that? We did cell referencing.
You
Huh?
highlight.
So
Okay, I can't hear. I
we
don't know
have
which
to
one.
lock using the
You
dollar
have to
sign.
lock. So if I'm locking, what am I locking? The cell or the column itself?
The column.
The column. So if I'm locking the column, how will I lock the column?
You click on top.
You put the dollar sign in front.
You put a
Okay,
dollar
sorry,
sign
two people are
and
talking. Oh, okay, hold on. The lady first. What will I do to lock the column? Lady first.
you put a
You put
dollar
it.
sign
I'll put a dollar sign in front of where?
in front of the column.
In front of what?
The column G.
Column G. Okay. The male. Do you support the motion?
Yeah. Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
All right. Okay. So I'm going to just, and I don't forget I gave us the way to do it. I said it's that you do it manually by typing in. So I can just remove this second dollar sign which is in front of the 4. Or use your F4 plus FM button, you press it. Since it already have the dollar sign in both, you press your F4 button, you press it thrice. And you get that, but I'm okay with this. And I'm saying if it's equal to, sorry, the instruction is above 6,000 naira. So I would put my greater than 60,000 and hit to format. I'm going to select a green field and hit OK. So can you see that it's highlighted all the employees that earn above 60,000? Anyone that you're not seeing that is highlighted did not meet the criteria. It's below that is given. Is anyone lost? Do you get that? I should come over it again. I should go over it.
Yes, ma.
Should I go over it?
Yes, ma.
Okay.
Yes, please. Can you please go over it?
Okay, so I'll Control Z. First thing, make sure all the data is selected. So once it's selected, you go back to your home tab and make sure to select new rule and make sure to select use a formula to determine which cell to format. Don't forget I said every formula or every function in Excel, please, if your mic is on, can you mute yourself, please? It's distracting. Please. Thank you. Yeah, thank you so much. Okay. All right. So I'll type equal to, I would say equal to, always start your formula or function in Excel with equal to sign, equal to. Then I'm working with the salary column. So come here and select the first cell in salary column. The moment I select that, automatically the dollar sign falls in between, like it falls on both end for both the column and the row. It has locked it. It has locked the cell. But I don't want to work with that cell alone. I want to work with the whole column, which is the salary column. To lock the column, I'm going to press my F4 button 2 times more. 1, 2. So you have your dollar sign in front of G, where G represents the column. Equal to, sorry, not equal to, the instruction is greater, any above 60. So I would say greater than, and I'll type in 60. So one thing you should note, if you are dealing with numbers, you can type them in like this, 60. But if it's not number, we'll check out that again. We'll check that out. I'll show us. So I've done this equal to 6,000 naira. That is greater than 60,000, I mean. Then formats, I'll click on format. What field do you want to give to it? I'll give this field, this light green, so that you can still see. If you want to change the font color too, you can change the font color. Yeah, change the font size and anything you want to do to it here. But I'll just work with the field alone. I'm okay with the field. Okay. Then I'm going to hit OK. It highlights every employee that is earning above 60,000 naira. Do we get that now? Are we good?
I have a question.
Okay.
Yes, ma.
What happens if you lock both the column and the row?
It will only work with this. Now let's see what happens. It will only work with that cell alone, which is not what we want to do. So let's see. Control Z and see what happens if we should do that. Equal to, then I select just this and I say greater than 60,000. Format it, field to be this, and I hit OK. So can you see? It even highlighted everything. It's not giving us correct value. So you might not get a correct result. You get that?
Yes, thank you.
All right, thank you. Okay, so I was saying something about if you are typing in a number in that formula bar there in your formatting, your new rule formatting dialog box, you type it straight. But if you are typing text, you put it in a double quotation mark. What do I mean? So let's say I want it to highlight. So I'm going to clear the formatting that is applied to this now. And I say, okay, I want it to highlight all the employees that are working in the IT department. To do this, I'm just going to come here, make sure everything is highlighted, then go back, following the same method to new rule, and I would say, okay, then come here, equal to. I'm working with the department column, so I would make sure to select the first cell in department column, and I will lock that column. I'm pressing my F4 button twice to just make the last line move to letter D. That means I'm locking that column. Then I would say it's equal to what? Equal to IT. So when you are typing in text, you have to wrap it around a quotation mark. IT, like this. What should be the format? I'm going to still give it maybe another color, this, then hit OK and OK. So can you see that every employee that in the IT department, their record have been selected? Is anyone lost? Can you hear me? Okay, so Omolara Elizabeth, you want to say something?
Yes, good evening, ma.
Good evening, ma'am.
Good evening. Can you hear me?
Good evening, ma'am. Yes, I can hear you.
Yeah, I don't know if any other person is having the same issue as like this. My own screen for your video is blank. I'm trying to like leave the meeting and come back for like 5 times now, but it's still showing blank. I don't know if any other person is experiencing such.
Okay, you're not seeing my screen?
Same me, I'm experiencing such.
You're not seeing my
Yes,
screen?
I'm not seeing it.
Okay, hold
And
on.
I've entered like 3 times.
If you did not tell me, you should have told me.
But we can see it here.
Okay, so let me stop sharing and share again, please. But let me stop sharing and share again. So I'm going to share again. Can we see my screen? Can anybody see my screen?
Yes.
Yes, we can see it.
Yes.
Okay, what about the lady that said she can see it? Omolara, can you see it now? Can you see it now? Can you see it now, Omolara? Hello, can you hear me? You are saying something, you are muted. Agoy, can you see it now?
I can't see it. Oh,
I think it's the network. I can't see it.
Okay.
I can't see
probably
your
network.
screen.
How many of us can't see us? She's looking like everybody
I
can see
don't
us.
know. Maybe for subsequent classes, we can use the Zoom.
Okay. Yes, of course, we'll use Zoom. I think we are having difficulty with this team. Okay, I'm sorry about that. I'm so sorry, but can't go on with the class like this if everybody is not seeing my screen. Please, if you can see my screen, can you just signify that you can see it so I would know?
I can see your screen. I think it's the
I can see
network.
your screen.
The network is lagging today. The network is
Okay.
really lagging.
Yes.
Okay. Okay, sorry. I'm so sorry about that. Please, we'll get the recording, and in our next class, I'll make sure that we are using our Zoom for the class. Please, so sorry about that. Okay, so that's for this is for if you want to select or format your data based on a rule that you want to apply. So you can also manage your rules, right? There's a place for manage rules. You come down to manage rules, then the conditional formatting rule manager box appears and it's saying, okay, do you want to add a new rule? Which you can, if you click on add new rule, it will bring out this box again and you can say you want to do anything you want to do here. Or if you are not adding a new rule, do you want to edit existing rule? So I can edit this. I can say, okay, I'm not seeing, I don't want the one for IT department. I want the one for finance. So one thing you should note is that when you are typing in the text, make sure it's exactly what is in that column that you're working with so that you get the correct result. And I would hit OK. I just edited this rule now from IT to finance. Then do you want to duplicate the rule? You can duplicate it if you want to. If I duplicate this rule now, I have this and I can edit this one and say, okay, remove this from finance to, let's get this from finance to marketing, and change the format to this light green. So we'll have result for both. Okay. Okay. So you can see it's highlighted finance and also for marketing. If you want to clear it, I do show you how you can clear it. You can always come back and clear rule from either the selected cell you want or the entire sheet itself, and you can come here to manage. So that's that on conditional formatting. You can just play around it and get to understand how it works. Okay, so the next thing we'll be looking at is logical text and date time function. So I'm going to this next. So let's start with the logical function first. I'm not really happy with the fact that everybody's not seeing my screen. It's okay. All right, I'm coming.
What came on?
What do you say? It just came up now.
Yes, but it's just I don't know if because initially when I first joined,
Okay.
it was
Okay.
there, but the cursor wasn't moving, so I wasn't seeing what you're doing. It was just like a picture. So I don't know if
Okay.
that would happen now.
Okay.
I think it's network.
Yeah, it could be, yes, network can cause that too. Network. But please don't worry, the recording is going to be available. You can watch, and our next class is still till next week Friday, so we have enough time to go through them. I'm sorry about the inconvenience. So sorry
No
about it.
problem at all.
So
Thank you.
we're going to look at logical text, date, and time function in this part. Logical functions. What are logical functions? Logical functions are used in spreadsheets to test whether a situation is true or false. That is what they are used for. Number one logical function we're looking at the if logical function. We have the if, the and, the or, the not, the so. We'll look at them. So we look at the if logical functions. The if logical function is used for making decisions. It's a logical key used for making decisions. So we have a table here that contains some person, salesperson, the sales figure, then there's a column here that's for commission or bonus, and want to get a value here. Here we have the target that I want to meet, and we also have the commission rate. Okay. I'm going to use, we have if and nested if. So I'll first do if first. This is just giving one single criteria to my data. If I'm saying for every salesperson that made sales from 5 million naira above, give them a 5% commission rate. To do this is where I want to get my value, my commission value in. I type in equal to, don't forget I said always start your formulas and your function with an equal to sign. So I would say equal to what? If. Now, one beautiful thing about Microsoft is, like I said again in our last class, is that it checks whether it's, anytime you type in a formula, it will always bring out what that formula is used for. And it's telling us that the if function checks whether a condition is met and returns one value if true and another value if it is false. So I'll come here, double click on the blue box, and I have the if. So we have the syntax of the if function, and we have the argument. The first argument here is the logical test. What is the condition? The condition is that this if any salesperson sells from 5 million and above, give them 5% commission. That is the logical test. That is the condition. So I'm going to select the sales figure. If this sales figure is equal to, if I want to type it in, I will type in the 5 million directly without putting commas. 5 million with 6 zeros. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 zeros, comma. If this first cell in the sales figure is equal to 5 million naira, okay, what should we do? Multiply the sales figure shift 8 by 5%. Sorry, let me just type in the 5%. I will just show us how you can 5%. This is when you type it in 5%. Now note this very well. I know someone is still going to draw me back here. I'm saying if cell E4 is equal to 5 million naira based on the targets given to us, what should happen? Multiply all the values here in column E by 5%. This is just the logical test. This is the condition. Then comma. Remember I put comma. Now is, sorry, this is the logical test. If E4 is equal to 5 million, this is the logical test. Then the value if true is, if it is true that it meets the target, multiply that value there by 5%. And I'm going to close my parentheses or just leave it like that. Now, one thing you should note, anytime you see your argument in square bracket, it means that argument is optional. You can put it in and you might not put it in. But if you don't find any of your arguments in a square bracket, it means that argument is compulsory. You have to fill it in. So I might just leave the one for value if false. So once you did not put the result for value if false, I mean, if you don't add in the data for value if false, Microsoft Excel will either return true or false. It depends on if the criteria is met or not. So just false to just return false. So I'm going to hit enter and I'll fill down to get the value for the rest. All right. So it's saying that for this one, it multiplied E4 by 5. Sorry, E4, if E4 equals to 5 million naira, multiply E4 by 5%. And let's see what happens here. This is not up to 5 million naira. It did not meet the criteria. So it's just returned false for it because 200,000 naira is not to 5 million naira. So it returned false. Same thing for this one. Now, this one is returning false because the sign we used, I mean, this is 7,500,000. Is even greater than 5 million. Why is it returning false? And that's because if you go back to the formula, instead of greater than or equal to, we use just equal to. So it will only work with that operator alone. It will only work with sales figure that is equal to 5 million naira. Anyone that is not, even if it's greater than 5 million naira, it would return false because the condition is that it's equal to 5 million naira. So I'm going to change this from equal to greater than or equal to 5 million naira like this. Then I'll hit enter and let me just clear this one here. And I can now fill down. So I'll see the result. Anyone that is not up to 5 million naira gets false. But from 5 million and above, there's a value for it. This is the commission we're giving to those salesperson based on the commission rate. We're going to get the value that is going to be going back to the business is going to be equal to the sales figure minus the commission or the bonus, the commission given to them. Hit enter to get the actual amount that will be going back to the company's purse. This is for just using a single if function to get the result. So with this if function, we've gotten this. So what if I don't want it to show false. I want it to show maybe target not met instead of false. So you can also specify what it should show if the target is not met. To do this, I'm first going to delete this one here, then go back to my formula. This is where the value if false comes in. You're saying if the value is false, what should be the result? I don't want it to show false. So I'm going to type in not target not met. Wrap it around my double quotation mark. Target not met. Like this. And I'll close my parentheses and hit enter. If I fill down, can you see that we have now? I know this is showing the value, the commission that this person will be getting, Chris Martins will be getting. This person did not meet the target. But one thing you should note, you get error if you're trying to subtract, because you can't subtract a text from a number. So don't even bother trying to subtract if you use this format. So the next format I want to show us again is, instead of typing it in, you can just come and select the cell, then lock it. What do I mean? The criteria is that for every salesperson that makes sales from 5 million and above, give them 5% commission. Ouch. Equal to if what? This person. So I'll come here, select this. If it's greater than or equal to 5 million. So instead of typing in 5 million, I'll come here, select the 5 million cell here, lock it by pressing my F4 button to lock it. If it's equal to 5 million naira, value if true. What should happen if the value is true? If it's true, multiply it by 5%. So I'll come here and select E4 again, Shift 8, multiply by the 5% in this cell. Make sure to lock that cell so that it will not move down. Then, comma, value if false. I can decide to add it or not to, so I will not add it and just hit enter. So I'll get the same result as the other one. I just showed us difference when you type it in yourself and also when you just select the cell and lock it. Sometimes when you type it in, you might make mistake with the zeros. So it's best to just have it somewhere like this. Now, there's something called nested if. This is where you have if inside of if. Are we following? Are we with me? Can we hear me? Can anyone hear me? So it shouldn't be as if
Yes,
I'm
we
talking
can
to
Yes,
you.
hear
ma.
you.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Thank you. So, okay. So I'm going to go back to now. We have two criteria here, two targets. If the person earns from 5 million and above, give them 5%. If he or she earns from 10 million and above, give them 10%. To do this, this is where we use if instead of is, and you call that nested if. So I'll come here, equal to, I'll type in if what? If this sales made is first, in a situation like this, if you're using the if, nested if, you want to put two criteria together, make sure you're starting with the one that is high. Else, if you pick the lowest, the one that is low, the smallest figure, Microsoft Excel would work with the smallest figure and you might be seeing incorrect value. So I'm going to I'll start with 10 million first. I'll show you why I said you should start with 10 million. Let's check it out. E4, if it's greater than or equal to 10 million first. So I'll start with this 10 million, or let me just do the select and lock the cell, comma. Then what should I do? If it's greater than 10 million naira, multiply this cell, shift 8 by 10% and lock that column for 10%. So I'll put my comma. Then I'll type in if, another if. So I'll type in another if. Then the logical test, we'll do one for 5 million naira now. Select the cell again. If this 5 million naira here in this sales figure column is greater than or equal to 5 million naira here, I will lock it. Comma, what should you do? Multiply this same cell by shift 8 by 10%. So I'm going to read the formula, we would understand it. So we are saying that if the person meets the 10 million target and above, and it sells above that, multiply the sales of that person with 10% to give the person that 10% commission. Else, for those that made sales from 5 million up to like 9.99999 million naira, give them 5% commission. So I will hit enter. So it's saying the reason why it's brought out is because I didn't close the parentheses. So I'll just accept correction so that I can add parentheses for me. So I'll hit OK. And I have this. So I'll fill down. Anywhere you see false, they did not meet the target for both 5 million and 10 million naira, which is true. 5 million naira gets 250,000 naira commission based on the 5%. 7,500,000 gets 375,000 naira based on this 5% also. Then this 3 million is now up to 5 million, so it's getting false. 10 million naira gets 1 million naira as a commission. 12 million naira gets 1.2 million naira as a commission based on this 10%. Then 6 million naira gets 300,000 naira based on the 5% commission. And 15 million naira gets 1.5 million naira based on the 10% commission. Now, what happens if we put 5 million naira first instead of 10 million naira? Let's go back and see. I'm taking our time to explain this part well so you understand, because it's like one of the critical parts of data analytics too. So equal to, if logical test, if I'm saying I'm going with the first criteria should be for 5 million naira, select the first cell. If this is greater than or equal to 5 million naira, lock in the cell, comma, multiply this cell by shift 8 by 5%. And if again, if the cell is greater than or equal to 10 million naira, comma, so 0 is not okay. Let me just select this cell. Sorry, instead of typing it in, I'll just select it. Select and lock. So if this is greater than or equal to 10 million naira, I'll lock it, then comma, multiply that cell by shift 8 by 10%. So let's see what happens if you should do this. Okay. So hold on, I didn't add the dollar sign to this J4. It was to give me issue. Okay, so let's hit enter and see the results we're going to get. Yes, accept correction. So you notice for 10 million naira, instead of 1 million naira, it brought out 500,000 naira. So what Excel did here is not giving the correct value for those that earn from 10 million and above. It's not giving. You can see for 15 million naira, it's giving 750,000 naira, which is following the one for 5%. So what happened was that Excel picked from, it followed the list one, gave the list for every one of it, everyone. If I start with the 10%, it will first look at the one for 10%, and anyone that doesn't meet the 10% criteria it will take for the value if first, it takes the one for 5%. So anytime you are doing nested if, make sure to start with the one that is high before you get the lower parts, so that way you get a correct value, correct results for your data. So that's that. This is nested if, when you have if inside of if. Is anybody lost, or you have a question to ask here, or you want me to come back? Anybody? Are we good? Can I continue?
Yes, you can continue.
Okay. All right. So the next part I'm going to be looking at now is the and, or, and the not function. What the and function is used for is to compare more than one condition. It returns true only if all the conditions are met. So it means that both conditions must be met, else it will return false. If I'm saying, okay, that I want to see those that are in the marketing department and they are 40 years old of age, using the AND function, if both criteria, if it's not met, both criteria are not met, it will return false. They both have to be met for it to return true. What do I mean? Equal to and. So and will check whether all arguments are true and return true if all arguments are true. So I'm going to double click on this blue box now. The arguments are logical 1, logical 2, then dot 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 means that if you have more values to add, more conditions to add to it. So I just have two conditions: must be in the marketing branch and also must be 40 years old. What I'm going to do is to type in, select the first cell in the branch, and I'll say, okay, I'm saying equal to, the branch must be equal to marketing. Don't forget, if you're typing in a text in your formula, wrap it around a double quotation mark. So I'll type in marketing and be sure that you are typing in the correct value, marketing, comma. When I type in comma, the next argument becomes active. What is logical 2? The second condition is that the person must be 40 years of age. So I'll select the first cell in age, and I'll say equal to 40. Just type in 40. If you're typing in numbers, just type them directly. No, don't put double quotation mark at the back or at the front. So I'll close my parentheses. So I'm saying I want to just return those that are in marketing department and are 40 years of age. So I would hit enter and I'll do the rest. It returned true for this person because both conditions are met: marketing and 40 years old. Anyway, you see false. This one, for this false, no, none of the condition was met. For this false, none of the condition was met. False, none of the condition. Anyway, you see false, none. Now, for this person, Henry Turner, for the first condition, the first criteria was met, marketing. He's in marketing department, but his age here is 45, which is not the same thing as the 40 years that I was given as a criteria. So it returned false, despite the fact that one of the criteria was met. And for true here, both conditions were met. So for the AND function, both criteria or all the criteria must be met for it to return false. Sorry, for it to return true. Else, it will return false. Both of them, if one is met and the other is not met, it will still return false. That's for AND. But for all function is, it also used to compare more than one condition, but if at least one of the condition is met, it will still return true if at least one is met. Now let's do the same thing here. The same condition, that if this person is in marketing and the person is 40 years old. So let's do it again. I'll just put equal to, then I'll use or. So it says, what's the logical one? Person must be in marketing. So I'll select the first cell in branch and I'll type in equal to, then marketing. Make sure to type it in correctly so you can get the correct results. Marketing. Then the next thing is comma, logical 2. Logical 2 is that the person must be 40 years of age. So I'll just type in comma, select the first cell in age and equal to 40. Now close my parenthesis and hit enter. So let's fill down and see what happens. Here, the criteria was met. Marketing 40. Anyway, you see false is just that both condition. It says it means none of the condition was met. So anyway, you see false, none of the condition was met. You can see here, they're not in the marketing department and none of them is 40 years old. Here, it's showing true. Even the person is not in marketing department, but the person is 40 years old. It returned true because at least one of the condition was met. Same thing for this person, for Henry Turner too. He's in the marketing department, but he's 45 years old, which is not the same thing as 40 that was given, but it still returned true because at least he met one of the condition. So the difference between and or is that for and, both conditions or all conditions must be met. For all, at least one. If one is met, it will return true. Then for the not function is like the reverse. If something is true, it will return false. If something is false, it will return true. Let's say I want to see employees that are not 40 years old. They're not 40 years old. I'll just type in equal to. Don't forget I said not is like the reverse. Equal to not function. It said changing false to true or true to false. I will double click on this blue box, right? And it only takes one argument, which is I said want to see employees that are just 40 years old. I'll come and select the first value in age column, then I'll type equal to 40. And I'll close my parentheses and hit enter. It returned false. So anyway, you see true it means all these persons are not 40 years old. True, this person is not 40. True, this person is not 40. Every true, they are not 40. So it will return the reverse of whatsoever argument you are imputing as a logical value for it. I don't know who. Okay, so who is there? Let me see. Simon, are you there? Can you hear me? Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
All right. So can you differentiate between and or?
Okay.
All right.
When making use of the formula and, it picks just the values that you put in. Let's say you put the person has to be age 40 and from marketing. It picks those two exact values. If they are not from marketing and age 40, to be false. And if they are
Okay.
from marketing and age 40, to be true.
Okay.
That's for and. And then for or, it's either of the two. So if the person is either 40, if it's 40 but no marketing, it will still be true. If it's
Okay.
marketing but it's not 40, it will still be true. But if it doesn't have either of them, it will be false.
Thank you very much for that. That's just it. For and all criteria must be met. For all, if at least one is met, no problem. We are good to go. Okay, so the next thing I'm going to be looking at is looking at some text function, just left like logical function. We're looking at text function, and we're looking at data joining. So join me. All right. Ampersand. We have different significant function that we can use to join our data together. You notice we have a table here that contains first name, last name, and initials. If I want to join these three together to form a single or a full name using ampersand, to do this, don't forget, start your formula and your function with an equal to sign. So I'll come in and type in equal to what? So I want to merge the first name, last name, and the initials together. I'll select the first cell in the first name. Once I've done this, and I'll put my ampersand, shift 7 to bring out the ampersand symbol. Then the second cell in the last name, shift 7 to bring out the ampersand symbol, then the initials. Now something is going to happen. I'm going to show us, I'll tell us why, but you still tell me what you notice. I'll hit enter. It has merged everything together, right? When I fill down. But what do we notice? What do we notice about this merging? What do you notice about the
There is
merging?
no space.
There's no
No
space.
space.
Exactly. It's merged together, and this is not looking, it's not looking well. It's not looking fine. To do this correctly, there's something that we have to do, and that's to introduce the character for space. To introduce character for space, so I'll just come in here, equal to Jane, shift, now before shift 7 for and, before I type in or select the next cell, I have to introduce character for space, and that is double quotation mark, space, double quotation mark, like this. So I'm saying before you merge this first cell, okay. All right. So guys, can you just my battery is low now. Just give me a few minutes. I'll come back. I'll join the call again. All right. Can you hear me? So give me
Okay.
5 minutes. I'll join the call back. So just stay on the call. I'll join the call back in 5 minutes time. Maybe be up to 5 minutes. Thank you. Can we hear me?
Yes, ma'am.
All right.
Yes, we can hear you.
I'm sorry about that. Yes. So I will type in the character for space, which is this, then ampersand again before I select.
Yes, we can't see your screen, ma. Sorry.
Okay,
Yes, your
sorry.
screen.
I'm not sharing it. I'm sorry. I'll share it now. Thank you. Thank you for calling attention to that. Share. Can we see my screen now?
Yes, it's okay now.
Yes.
Okay. So I'll type in the character for space, then another ampersand, and I'll select the next cell, the ampersand, the character for space, ampersand again, and the initials. So I'm saying Jane and space and Smith and space and the initials of Jane Smith's name. Then I'll hit enter. We now have everything spaced the way it should, not merged together. All right, Victoria, you want to say something? Victoria, are you there?
Okay, yes, Miss Blessing.
Okay.
I've actually been raising up my hand. Thank you so much.
Sorry.
My questions is under conditional formatting.
Okay.
Yes, like I wanted to ask if you do not lock the column.
Okay.
If you don't lock it, it won't give you the same result, pa.
Yes, it would not. I think I tried it out when someone asked what happens if
Okay,
you
so
don't lock
you
it.
highlighted everything because I didn't,
Yes.
probably my network was okay. And
Yes,
the
yes.
last question, ma,
Okay.
when you highlight, can you count these highlighted ones, like conditional formatting? Can you count it? Can you use the count function, or is it
Mm,
formula? Can you count
no,
it? Is
you
it possible?
it will only highlight it will don't worry when we get to that point where you can count do counting. Would there's a point where you do count, but
Unconditional.
it won't count, it only highlight it. Apply formatting, it will
Oh,
not count. Yes.
cool. All right. Thank you.
Okay. So the next one is concatenate. So do you understand how I use the ampersand to join these three columns together? All right. Prince, you're raising your hands. You want to say something?
Yes.
Okay.
Still on the if function and the and all
Okay.
and the not. So I was thinking you will walk us through on how to join both formulas because I'm sure that there's a way you can join them to solve a problem or to do basic analysis.
Okay.
So I was thinking you walk us
Uh,
through on how to join the if function and that of the and together. If and or if or, the case may be.
okay. I don't have it on this template. Okay. So let me see if I can come up with something. I don't have it here on this particular template. Okay. So let's say that we have a column that, let me just create a small column here, right? And I said we have a column that contains, let me see, 60. Let me just give this, let me print it in prints, then Victoria, then probably Blessing, just three names. Then there's trying to just come up with something. 40,000 naira, then 40,000 naira. Okay, and they're all parents, 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 and parents. Not parents. So I could have just opened the sheet, but I don't want to do that. All right. So we are saying that for every parent or every of the, let's assume this is the customer table now, right? And we're saying for every of the customer that, just this small table is a customer table, every of the customer that earns 40,000 naira and is a parent, give them priority. Those that are not, that don't meet the criteria, give them standard. That's just the condition. anyone that is a parent and earns 40,000 naira, give the person, categorize them under priority. So there'll be a priority as a customer, or and if they don't meet the criteria, or let's go with 6,000 since that's the highest amount they used to purchase goods from the company. So anyone that that's purchase goods worth of 60,000 naira and the person is a parent, categorize them under priority, and those that don't meet the criteria, categorize them under standard. So to do this, I'm going to be using the if and the and function together. So I would say equal to, now equal to, what do you want to do? If the logical test. Now, since we have two conditions, our logical test is going to contain these two conditions. So I'll type in and. Don't forget the and function contains just the conditions itself. It takes the argument as conditions. So the first logical that's logical one is the first condition, which is that if the amount is 60,000 naira, so I'll select this cell and I'll put equal to 60,000 naira, comma. The next condition is that, and if it's a parent, I'll come here, select this cell and say equal to parent. Then what happens? I'll close my parentheses for the and to close the all the argument for and, then comma. The next argument is value if it is true. So if it is true, what should it be? Categorize them under priority. And value if it is false. If it does not meet the criteria condition, categorize them under standard. So I'm going to read the formula again so we can see it. So I'm saying the two conditions given that they must be parents and they must have purchased goods worth over 60,000 naira from us before you can categorize them under our priority. Otherwise, categorize them under standard. So I'm going to hit enter. So the reason why it's bringing this because I did not close the parentheses, so I will just allow it to make the correction itself. Yes. And it's bringing priority. So when I fill down, you can see standard. Priority because Prince met the criteria. He purchased goods worth over 60,000 naira and he's a parent. Victoria and Blessing gets categorized under standard because they did not meet, even if Victoria is a parent, she did not meet the criteria. Don't forget that for the and function, both condition has been met for it to return true or return the value if true. Then Blessing she did not even meet any of the criteria at all. So it's just returned, categorize her under standard. So I don't know if we understand that. But if you use the or function, as long as if one of the condition is met, it will categorize them under priority. Now let's see what happens here. Let me change Blessing to let me add another person. I'm going to add Simon and say Simon is he earns 40,000 too, and he is not a parent. Not parent. Okay. I'm going to remove, let me just, standard. So equal to if, double click on the blue box, and I'm going to type in or. So open my parentheses. The first logical one is that they must earn, they must have purchased goods worth 60,000 naira. So I select the first cell here and put equal to 60,000, comma. Then the next condition is that it must be parent. So I'll select the first cell in the parent or not parent column, and I'll put equal to parent. Okay, then I'll close my parentheses, then comma. So value if true. If the conditions are met, what should it return? Categorize them under priority. These are our priority. These are those who want to probably gift them something for the new year or something like that. If they don't meet the criteria condition given, categorize them under standard. Maybe we have something else to give to them. Standard. Okay. Then I would just close my parentheses and hit enter. Now, if I fill this down, it's categorized Victoria as under priority, even if she did not purchase goods worth 60,000 naira from us. But because she's a parent and because we use the or function alongside with the if function, that is why it categorized that under priority. For these two people, Blessing and Simon, they did not meet any of the criteria. That is why it categorized them under standard. So I don't know if you get the concept of how you can now use your if and your and function together. Did you get that? Are you there? The
Yes,
person that
yes.
the person that asked the question, I want to be sure he has gotten that. Okay. All right, so let's just continue. I want to believe he has gotten that. So the next one, I already showed us. How many of us understood how we did with ampersand?
I didn't
Are we
get
clear with? You didn't get the one for ampersand. Okay, so let me go back. Which one did you not get? The ampersand or the if and which one?
the ampersand, ma.
Okay, so I'll go over it again. Control shift downwards to clear everything, delete. So I want to merge these three columns together using ampersand. Starts with an equal to sign first. Every formula and function must start with an equal to sign. Equal to, select the first cell that you want to work with. And I want to merge shift 7. You get your ampersand. Shift 7 gives you ampersand. And before you select Smith, because if you add Smith, it means you are just joining them together directly. Before you select Smith, put your character for space. Double quotation mark, space, double quotation mark. Then and again. So I'm saying join Jane with a space before you join her with Smith. Then I'll select the cell where Smith is in, and I'll put and again, and space, and shift 7, and space, before I select the initials. Sorry. And before I select the initials. So I'm saying Jane join with a space, join with Smith, join with a space, join with the initials, and I'll hit enter. Then I fill down. Did you get that now? Did you get that?
Yes, ma. Thank you.
All right. So the next way you can also join is using concatenate. So concatenate is also a function. So equal to concatenate. Just type it in concatenate. So you can see it says join. It joins several text string into one text string. These are text strings, right? So I'll double click on this. The first argument here is, what is the first text you want to work with? Text 1. Text 1 is Jane, comma. Text 2 is Smith, comma. Text 3 is the initial. Then I'll close my parentheses and hit enter. So if I should hit enter and fill down, you'll notice it's also joined everything together. And that's because we did not add the character for space to separate them together. To fix this, I'm going to Ctrl Z to undo what I have done. Then equal to concatenate. Double click on this blue box. The first argument is Jane, comma. Before I put the next or select the next cell, I'll put the character for space. Control, then this asterisk on my square. Just put the character for space. Double quotation mark, space, double quotation mark, then comma. So this will serve as a space between Jane and Smith. This is going to serve as the space between Jane and Smith. Then I'll comma. I'll put the space again before I select the initials. Comma and the initials. So I'm saying Jane plus Smith and the initials with space in between. Now close my parentheses and I'll hit enter. And one beautiful thing about Excel, once you are done with cell 1, you can always copy down for the remaining cells. Are we good? Did we get this? Did you get this?
Yes, yes.
Yes,
All right. Okay. So the next one I want to show us is using text join to join your data together. That's another function. Aside ampersand, aside concatenate is another one, text join. So equal to text join. This is text join here. It concatenates a list or range of text strings using a delimiter. So I'll double click on this. What is the delimiter? All right, Okoyemi Usman, you want to say something? Yeah, I'm listening.
No, I just wanted to ask what the difference between concat and concatenate is, because when you were typing, it brought concat and concatenate.
It doesn't matter.
Oh,
Anyone you want to use, you can use it.
okay, they are the same.
Yes.
Thank you.
It doesn't matter. Anyone. You can say concatenate list of range or text. Anyone. It doesn't matter. All right. So thank you. Text string. Text join. Sorry. Text join. All right. Text join concatenates a list or range of text string using a delimiter. So I'll double click on this and it's asking you, do you have a delimiter? Do we have delimiter? We don't have any delimiter in our data. So ignore. So what is the text you want to work with? Or let's see if I'm going to put space as this. Then my text one, ignore empty cells or include empty cells. Let's just leave it at ignore empty cells. Then comma. My text one is Jane. Comma. Text two is last name, initial. Then let's close my parentheses and hit enter. So that delimiter it was asking for is if what is going to be the delimiter? That is, all be separating the first name from the last name and the initial. So I'm going to go over it again so we can see. So Ctrl Z using text join. Now, the first argument is the delimiter. It's asking you, do you want anything to separate your data? Since I want just space to separate my data, I'll put just space. So I'll put the character for space like this. Then comma, ignore empty cells or include empty cells. I don't have empty cells in my data. And if there is, I wanted to ignore the empty cells. There, don't join them. Comma, what is the text you want to combine together? I want to combine Jane, comma, Smith, comma, the initials. Don't forget, you don't need to include character for space, excluding the one you included here, because it has already asked you what the limiter is that you want to be between your text. So I'll hit enter and I'll fill for the rest. You get the same result. Now, before we look at flash fill, right, I want to show us the automatic way that Microsoft Excel can help us. So I'm going to type in, to do this, I don't need to put the formula, do anything. All I have to do is to lay down first 2, 3 examples for it to follow and to fill down the rest for me. What do I mean? I want to join Jane Smith and the initials together. So I'll type in Jane Smith, then dot T, enter, Michael. Can you see the moment I type in Michael to lay down the example, it brought out the rest in faint color. How many of us can see? Can you see the rest in a very, very light color?
Yes.
And I'll just hit enter and it fills the rest for me. This is the automatic way that Microsoft Excel will help you. All you have to do is to lay down the first, second example for it. Even before you type the second example, it brings out the rest in faint color, and it because it has noticed the pattern you're following, and it would help you fix the rest. That's the automatic way that Excel will help you merge or join your columns together. So then we're gonna look at flash fill. So I'll just delete this. I'll delete this. Flash fill. Now, flash fill is that fast way you can use to fill down your columns with cell. So all you have to do for this flash fill too is to just lay down the pattern you want it to follow to for just the first cell, Jane Smith dot T. Then hit enter and go back to select this cell. Once you hit enter, make sure you go back to select it. Then you can find this flash fill. You can find it here in your data tools group. Flash fill, you can find it here. But the shortcut for flash fill is Ctrl E. So if I hit flash fill, it fills the rest for me now. So instead of going back to click on that button, all I have to do is just press Ctrl E on my system and it fills the rest for me automatically. Smart work, smart move. There's no stress of using concatenate, text join. Just type the first format, then Ctrl E to fill the rest, as long as it recognizes the pattern. Do we get that? Did we get it? Any question around this part? Okay, so we are good to go. All
yeah,
right.
can it work with summation or other kind of function? I mean flash fill.
Work with summation. Like
For
you want to sum.
for example, yeah, for
Okay.
example, this is a or it's only a text function. The example, this is an addition of
Now don't
column
forget we are
S
dealing
and
with
T.
text function. So it means it works
Okay,
with text. Yes.
okay, okay.
Yes. All right. But it doesn't mean that it's just for the flash fill now. You can also fill down for numbers too, right? As long as there's a pattern that is following, is looking at to fill down for the rest. I don't know if you get what I'm trying to say. Or can you just specify like what kind of example you're looking at, so I would know if it's going to work for it.
Okay, I was saying that if, for example, we want to find the total revenue and column U is total revenue being
Okay.
summation of multiplication of S and T. If we do
Okay.
for only U3 and we want to use this flash fill,
No, it will not work. It will
can
not
that
work. It
function?
will not work. It will not
Okay.
work. It won't work.
Okay.
The flash fill, it doesn't work with the formula like that. It doesn't work with formula like that. It doesn't. So it will not work. So you have for that other one, just use your autofill edge to fill the formulas down to the rest. So it won't work for this one. All right. So the next one we are going to look at is, since we've looked at how to join, let's look at how to separate. So to separate, you can also use the flash fill. You can also use the automatic way. But I'm going to show us how to use text to column and text splits, then flash fill and the automatic way. So you want to to split. Now let me just copy this. I would copy this name here. So you can do that too at your end. Control C. I guess I didn't paste it. So I'll copy this name here and paste it here. Control V. So we have these names. Oh, sorry. Okay, so let me just type it. James Smith dot C. Then Michael Johnson. R and let's see, Emily Davis dot T, and I'll just work with four. Okay, because I've concatenated those columns. So okay, so I'll work with just this for names alone. I want to split them into first and last name. To do this, all I have to do is, now if I'm going to show us, let me just show you how you use text to column to fix that. Make sure the column you want to work is selected. Then you go to your data tab. In your data tools group, you can see the text to column, what I was showing you the other time when we started the class. Comment to text to column. So we have the convert text to column wizard dialog box that appears. And it's telling you, okay, you want to split this column. What is the delimit? Is it a delimited column or a fixed width column? My delimited column, it means, does it have characters or tabs separating the data? If it's fixed width, that is, the fields are just aligned in the columns with spaces between each field. This is not fixed width because we don't have a fixed width. You can see Michael Johnson here. You can see the width is not fixed, but we have the delimiter. Space is a delimiter too. Space is a delimiter. So I'm going to leave it as delimited. Then I would hit next. Then it's asking what kind of delimiter is separating your data. It's space. So select space. Okay. And you can see this screen lets you set the delimiter your data contains. You can see how your text is affected in the preview below. You can see how the text is affected here. So I'd leave it at that. So I think we are having this because there's like excess space in my data. We are having this, the R, there's excess space. So I'm just going to cancel this and adjust it.
No, I think it's because tab, you are selecting tab and space together in that
No.
text to column.
Yeah, like this, the dot here was very close to Johnson. So that was why it split it that way. So let's just do that. So I'm selecting this and go to my data tab. Then here in my text column, repeating the same step, space, so it's fixed now. Then I'll hit next. You can uncheck the button for tab. So general is asking you the destination. Where do you want this to be splitted in? Currently is in column W here. I can change it. I said I don't want it to be in column W and select where I want it to be splitted into. I want it to split it into this column. Select this and go back. You can see it's showing you to split into Jane, general, and or I can just come here. Yeah, I'll select that, then finish. So can you see that they are splitted into, you can see the first name here, you can see the last name, and you can see the initial. The initial. So do we get this? And this is how you use text to column to split your data. Is anybody saying anything? Can you please mute yourself? Okay. Hold on. I think okay, thank you. Thank you very much. Yes. All right, so this is how you use text to column to split your data into different or separate columns. Now let's use text split. Text split is a function you use to split your data. To use text split, equal to text split. Sorry. Text split. You can see text split says split text into rows or columns using delimiter. So I'm going to double click on this. The first argument is the text you want to split. So I select this, comma. The next argument is the column delimiter. What is the delimiter? It's just space. That's all. Now don't forget I told you that anytime you see your arguments in square brackets, it means they are optional. It's only when you need them that you can add them in to it. So I'm not working with row delimiter because the values I'm working with are in a column, in a single column. So I think I'm good with this. I'll just close my parentheses and hit enter. And it has splitted it into 3. So now let's go back. I want to check out something. So equal to text split. Let's try out for row delimiter too. So column, this is our text, comma, our column delimiter is space, comma, row delimiter. Let's see. Are you ignoring empty cells? But I want to ignore empty cells. Okay, ignore empty cells. The match mode, you can check out those ones, but they are not optional. I'm sorry, they're optional. I mean, they're not important to work with. Still, it only worked with this one. So I can just maybe highlight everything and split for me. So this is just how you split using your text split. It should work at your end there. Now, for flash fill or the automatic way, let's do the automatic way that you can input or split your columns into 3. To do that, I'll just type in the first one, Jane, then come here and type in Michael, exactly as it is, Michael, Emily. Now, sometimes you would almost get to the fourth part before it would bring out the rest in faint color. It's trying to get the pattern. So it's not every time when you you do first row, second row, and it brings out the rest in faint color. Sometimes it would not work. And sometimes when you notice like that you've typed the first, second, third row, you can just switch to your flash fill. So I would type in Jane, enter, then go back and Control E. So we looked at the data next to your selection. I didn't didn't see a pattern to fill in values for you. To use flash fill, enter a couple of examples of the output. Yes, okay. So it's not picking the value. So I'm just gonna copy. Let me copy. Yeah, so I'm just gonna I'll use this one and see Jane, Michael. So you can see all are already shown in faint color. I'll hit enter. For the last name, Smith, enter. Johnson, you can see the rest in faint color. Then the initial dot T, enter, dot R, and you can see the rest in faint color. So just hit enter and fills the rest for me. So this is how you use the automatic way. Then for flash fill, once you type in the first example, hit enter and go back to select again and fill the rest with Control plus E. You get your result. So let's try flash fill and we'll look at how to use the other functions to change text cases. So for flash fill, Jane, I'll hit enter, go back and select Jane again, then Control E. So it's still not getting the pattern. So just leave it like that. Since the automatic way works, and you can always try out flash text split or your text to column to solve that. So it depends on which one works at that time that you need your data. All right, so let's look at the next one, which is for formatting your data. You notice we have some data here they are not well formatted. You notice it's a mixture of both capital letter, small letter, and the likes like that. How do I convert into a proper case or to capitalize it? Proper function is that function that would capitalize the first letter of every word in your column. It will capitalize it. Upper function would make everything to be in capital letter, while lower function will make them to be in small letter. So using the proper function, I want to make sure that the first letter of every word is in capital letter, while the rest will be in small letter. So use proper function equal to proper. Now double click on this blue box. It only takes one argument, the text you want to work with. So I'll select the first cell here and hit enter. And I can fill down for the rest. You can see that everything is well arranged now. You now have them formatted the way it should be. Very correct. Tony, so you can see the names. Those ones are just scattered. They're now properly formatted. If I want to capitalize everything to be in capital letters, I'll use the function upper function. Upper. You can always read the instructions to convert a text string to all uppercase letters. So I'll double click on this blue box, and the first argument that it takes, which is just one argument, is the text you want to work with. I will hit enter, and it capitalizes every data there. And the next one is the lower function. The lower function would make them to be in lower cases. So equal to lower, double click on the blue box and select the text I want to work with. And I'll hit enter. And you can see that everything has been formatted to be in just lower cases. I hope we are getting this. Can anyone hear me?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay,
Yes.
someone wants to say something. Okay, Paul, sorry. Paul Swami, are you there? I'm just seeing that your hands is raised.
Yeah, I'm
Can you hear
here.
me? All right,
Can you
so
hear
you
me?
raised your hand. Yes, I can hear you.
Can you hear me?
Yes, I can. Yes, I can.
Hello?
I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Hello, can you hear me?
I can. I can hear you. We can hear you. You can, or you can type in what you want to say in the chat, but I can hear you. You're not, maybe you're not hearing me, but I can hear you. Can anyone hear me?
Hello, can you hear me now?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, I
You.
can hear you. Yes, I can.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes, I can.
Please activate the chat so that I can type. I think my network is very poor here.
I can't even hear what you're saying. Maybe you
Hello?
should use the. Can you hear me? Can you please use the chat
Hello?
box? But I can't hear you. The network is terrible. I cannot hear you. You can just use the chat box. I would check what you type in there and answer your question. Okay. All right. So the last thing we'll be looking at before I ask someone to just do a recap of what we've done in class is this left, right, and learn function. This is the last thing we'll be doing here. Then next week, sorry, we'll continue from where we stop and do. So left, right, and learn function. You use this function left, right, and learn, left and right. If you want to extract some number of characters from your data in your column.
Can you hear me now?
Yes, I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Okay. When you were doing the test to column, I observed that the destination, the chat box is deactivated. The chat box is deactivated. Can you please activate it?
The chat box is activated. Which chat box is that? Okay. Sorry.
Network.
Sorry, it's terrible.
Okay, my question is, when you were doing test to column, I
Okay.
observed that the destination was locked, both the row and the column. Is that really necessary?
When I was
And
doing
my
text to
second
column.
question is,
Okay.
we divided the first name, second last name and initials to in their own respective columns.
Okay.
Can I choose first name to be in a column, then second name to be in a separate column, not the next column?
No. Once
I
you
can
pick
hear you.
where, can you hear me? Can you hear me? Please, aside from him, can anyone hear me, please?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so
Yes,
I
I can
think
hear
his
you.
net, I think his network is bad. So let's.
Oh God.
Sorry about that. Sorry. Okay. So you don't you would handle that, but for that one that you said that, can you choose the next column, the last name should be in? It's not possible. Once you select the first column that it should be splitted in, it's just split like that, and the next one follows it. That's the way it's going to be. All right. So let's just move to the next one. Our time is fast spent, and we are ending the session very soon. Or let's leave this. We'll continue in our next class so that I won't eat into our time. I know we need to do some other things. All right, so in 2 minutes, okay, someone is raising up. Yesterday, all right, you can say something.
Yes, ma'am. Good evening.
All right,
Sorry,
good
it's
evening, ma'am.
regarding duplicate values, right? Yeah, I want to make an example, right? We have customers,
Okay, ma'am.
with same name but
Okay.
different account number.
Okay.
Okay, so if I'm to check for, okay, we have customer with same name, different account number, and we also have customer with that name but the same account number. So there'll be a duplicate in that sheet. So how do I should I am I going to use that conditional formatting for that duplicate values, or I should use
Now,
duplicate?
okay, so I think it's not possible that you have two different customers, even if they have the same name, have the same account number. It's not possible, right?
Yeah, so is that
So
customer
if
with,
it's if what do you say?
okay, the duplicate I'm removing is customers that appears two times. That means the same account number and the same name.
Okay, so you won't remove based on you won't remove based on the name column. You will remove using the account name as a criteria, so that it would remove duplicate using the account name as a criteria. I don't understand if you get what I'm trying to explain.
Yes, I
So
do.
let's say, let me just create a sheet somewhere around, and I have Blessing. Her account number is 01034926679. Then yeah, so we're supposed to treat this because anytime you type in numbers and there's zero in front, it will remove the zero. But there's a
Yes.
way you can fix it. There's a
Yeah.
way you can. But so let's do it again. So I'm going to put blessing all three, and maybe someone else with another number, Victoria. Then probably 1112335 then 67 as the account details. We have blessing here with,
Okay.
and we have duplicate of it. To remove the duplicate, if I'm going to highlight all this and I say I want to remove duplicates, come to my data tab. Then there's let's this yeah, remove duplicate. So I'll select this. Now we have column BBA. You want to select my data does not have either. To remove the duplicate, hit first. Let me just select this place
But
and go to my,
there's no duplicate on that account number we have here.
you don't have duplicate there.
Yes, on this account number you typed.
Okay, sorry. That's it's so let me just put 79. Thank you for calling my attention to that. 79. Okay, so I'm just going to highlight everything and let's go to my data tab. Remove duplicate. So it brings it. You want to expand selection? Yes. To remove duplicate. Okay. So can you see that we only have unique values that are left? Even if we have two blessing, we now have unique account number for them.
Okay.
You get?
And
All right.
is it I can detect duplicates in that in my sheet?
Is there a way you can detect duplicate?
Yes.
Okay, yes, you can use a conditional formatting. I showed you how you can. Now let me Control Z to detect duplicates. Highlight everything, then go to your highlight everything, go to your home tab, conditional formatting. Then you can come to
The highlights.
yeah, let's see, contents. So let's see. No, this is not this. Just go to new row so you can get this thing there. New row. Duplicates. Format only unique or duplicate value. So leave it at duplicates. Then give it a format. Maybe fill it with something to just make it different and hit OK. So can you see? Can you see?
Yes.
So if you only want to work with the column that contains the account number, only highlight that account number. It's because I highlighted everything. That was why it's highlighted both the blessing that is here. So you just highlight only this account number and you go there to apply conditional formatting to know the duplicate in your data. That's one way you can no duplicates if you have duplicates in your data.
Thank you, ma'am.
All right, is that all? Any other person, any question? So I think we are good. So you just in 1 minute before we wrap up the class,
Hello, can you hear me
can
now?
yes, I can hear you. Can you hear me too? Can you hear me too? So I guess his network is just so terrible.
Okay.
Please, if you can hear,
That's great.
can you hear me? Okay, so you know what? Would maybe after the class, if you're online, if you're on the classroom, not classroom, the WhatsApp group, you can just send in your question. I would respond to it, so we won't waste much time. Since you can't hear me. All right, so in 1 minute before we leave the class, Victoria, are you there? If you are there, can you in 1 minute just share
Yes,
what we
ma.
did in today's class? In 1 minute, what we did in today's class.
Oh, okay. Thank you so much, ma. Thank you for the class. So I learned quite a number of things today. All right. So I think the first thing we did was conditional formatting,
Okay.
where we can, new rule, manage the rules, highlight them with colors or give them a rule or condition to follow.
Okay.
Then another thing we did was logical statement, the and, the or, the not, where the and has you have two conditions and it will only give true if it follows, like if it meets the two criteria, two conditions, where
Yeah.
if it meets or if it meets either of them, then not will give you the reverse
Okay.
of your answer. Then we did the if. I didn't say that one at first. That was what we did first. If is to give logical tests, like if something is this, let it be this. If something meets up to this, give me yes. If it's red, give me yes. If it's blue, give me false. So we did those logical statements, and then we did text functions.
Okay.
Text functions. So I'm trying to remember their particular names
All right,
right now.
you've at least you've been able to mention all that we've done. So not all, but at least to some extent. Thank you so much. So it means we are following. So please, if you have questions, maybe something is not clear to you, as usual, the next class is going to be coming up next week Friday. So it means you have like 5 days, maybe 4 to like before the class in the evening to practice, go through the videos and the templates, practice them yourself. If you have questions, I'm always here to answer your questions if you have them. All right, so one last thing I didn't say yesterday, and that's the part that, if you remember when we were having our onboarding session, we said that there's going to be like a 90 days challenge where you get to talk about things, that's if you want to do it, things that you learned from every of the classes during the week, and day one is starting tomorrow. So we have hashtag that I'll be using that's going to be connecting us together. So when I see someone's post, I know the person has been, joining the My Data Clique class. And this is it, the hashtag for the 90 days challenge. So you took, I mean, we've done a lot today and yesterday. So you have like enough things to talk about on your social media platform, which is like LinkedIn. I learned this, I learned this. So hashtag is just My Data Clique Data Analytics Bootcamp. And we have, this should be hashtag My Data Clique one. That's the hashtag for the bootcamp and the training. So if you please don't forget, if you're posting about the class on your LinkedIn, about what you've learned, don't forget to tag us so that we can see it and we can interact. And you can also as well drop your LinkedIn URL to the group so that we can all connect with each other there on the group. So thank you so much everybody for your time. It's been, I had an amazing time. Okay, all right, please.
The LinkedIn challenge, is it for each class?
Well, it depends on what you want to do, how you want to do it, how you want to. It's just what you've learned. Talking about what you've learned every day. That's just so. I don't know what you want to pick first or what you want to pick as last. It's just you talking about what you've learned for the week. Do you get that? Okay.
Okay, so a week lecture can be in a post.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I said a week lecture for Friday, Saturday, Sunday can be in a post? That's what I'm asking.
You can decide to split it for the next 5 days. It depends on how you want to split it. Maybe you want to talk about conditional formatting and this today, then tomorrow you want to talk about this and this. So it depends on how you want to split it. It depends.
Okay.
All right. Who else wants? I think someone is raising up his Fumi Lola, I guess, is raising up her hand.
Yes, I wanted to ask if it's
Okay,
only
ma'am.
reason that we can post on. I want to post on X too.
Can you yeah, it depends. You can post on X and just tag us so that we can, yes, can. Anywhere you want to. But LinkedIn, or X, anywhere. You're free.
Oh, okay. Thank you.
Yes. All right. So thank you so much, everybody, for your time. The recording we posted, the link we posted soon to our Google Classroom so you can have time. Please don't forget to practice and perfect what we've learned in class because we are just starting. We've not gotten
Our
to the
assignment in
main.
Kobai.
Don't worry, you get your assignments. Don't forget I said that we have weekly tasks to do. So if you don't finish the tasks or you do tasks for 3 weeks, that's the end of the class for you. All right. I would send the assignment soon and also the link to the recording very soon. We meet in our next class on Friday. Thank you so much, everybody. It's nice having everyone
Oh,
over
we
here.
have you to thank. Thank you very much, ma,
Thank
for
you
your quality time.
Thank you so much, everybody. Thank you. All right. We meet in our next class next week, Friday by 5 p.m. Bye, everybody. Bye, Anna. Bye, Yetunde. Bye, Esther. Adiyemi Adenuga. Bye-bye.
Thank you so
Andrew.
much.
You've not mentioned
Bye.
my name, oh. You've not mentioned my name, oh.
Okay, who is that? Who is that? Who did I not mention his name now?
Opeyemi.
Opeyemi. Yeah, bye. Bye. All right, bye, guys. Bye.
Enjoy your
Bye, bye.
Enjoy your week.
Yes, I would. Thank you so much.
Mwah. Ah.
Thank you. Bye, everybody.